Okay, it's 11 o'clock. And now, I'm calling the meeting to order. And I welcome you all and thank you all for taking time out of your busy days to come out and see what's going on with the city's business. And we are here to serve you at the best of our ability. And I would like to ask Pastor Avery if he would like to say a prayer. Let's go out here.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all that you have done. Bless our Lord, that thou bless this meeting. Bless every councilman, bless every representative here today. Help us, Lord, to conduct your business and do your holy will. Bless our mayor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, I forgot to make an announcement before we get started. That if you have your cell phones, could you put them on vibrate or put them on silence or whatever. Turn them off if you desire. And once we're through with whatever section in the agenda that you came in for, you can leave. But if you would like, you can stay here for the entire meeting. Thank you very much. And for the adoption of the agenda, we will have some additions. Okay, item number 18 will be the GMA election of District 11 officers for 2015-2016. There will be GMA election of District 11 officers for 2015-2016. I just opened the letter, just received it. I just got it in my box, so that's why it's not on there. And item number 19, the Wilson County Public Library, increase of annual allocation. And number 20 will be the G.B.R Dam. Yes. And number 21 will be Georgia Department of Transportation detour request. And I do have one more that I would like to add. There will be 22, actually 2 more, and 23. They would just be informational. The disposition of Mr. Casper's, the request that he had of us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for closing of the road.
Can you repeat that again?
The disposition of Mr. Casper's request for closing of the road. And number 23 will be Mr. Head, H&H paving, the permit for the toilet line under the railroad. And the pipe for it. Is there anything else that someone else has that's regarding me? If not, is there a motion to adopt the agenda presented with the additions that were just stated?
So move that we adopt the agenda before we mention amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Okay. Item number 2 is the city attorney's report by Mr. Gerald Spencer.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything additional from Tuesday night.
Okay. Thank you very much. Item number 3 will be, any questions of Mr. Spencer? No questions? Item number 3 is the city manager's report. I'll give my Mr. Danny Gray. Thank you.
Some additional information. This was an item from last Tuesday night, and I call it, I just want to make sure, try to keep any of my coughing and all off y'all. This was related to a change order that was submitted relating to AC work proposed at the DPAX building on 4/29/15. Change order is required due to the recommendation of the contractor. Since our last meeting, just a quick update of what we had. The change orders requested after work had already begun. J&J was awarded the bid, competitive bid type process. The change order would have transferred over to him for the additional work. If the system had been replaced as it was, which was a mixed match unit, there was a 6-ton condenser outside, a 5-ton air handler inside, that was discovered after the construction had begun. There would have avoided any warranty implied from the company. I think that's outlined in your letter from Mingledorf, outlining mismatching of units. Without the change order, there would have been structural modifications that would have been needed to take place in the ceiling area and roof trussing. The contractor, J&J, who was a licensed AC contractor, determined that a 5-ton condenser and 5-ton air handler would adequately handle the square footage in question. It was the same square footage as the other 5-ton unit that was replaced. DPAX, and I did not request this, I think maybe the contractor talked with them. They have spoken with the director of DPAX, and they have included a letter since this weather has begun that the unit is operating correctly. Talking back with Mr. Griffin again, all work is guaranteed as always, but it would not have been under warranty if we had it replaced exactly as it was in the building. This change order, as you are aware, did not increase the bid. It actually reduced the bid. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. I don't think Mr. Griffin is here. He was doing everything he could to clear up his schedule to be here, but this is his busiest time of the year. And he said he may have been here, but he did not think so with the workload that he was under right now.
Okay, what my concerns were, and I will readdress my concerns, were the change order should have come back to the council, because all contracts signed representing the city are, there needs to be a change to that contract. It needs to come back before the city, and the change order is just that, it's a change. I was unaware of this change. I knew nothing about this change until I was presented with a check to pay them. And a bid is not an emergency. And the contractor never contacted me. And I was never told of this change. So my only problem will be is this states a mismatch, but it does not state the square footage of the building and what the building needs. The building had a 6-ton air conditioner on the outside, compressor, and a 5-ton air handler. So me not being an air conditioning specialist, I know not whether the building needs a 6-ton air conditioner or not, because no one has stated on here. This letter from the DFAC stated they don't know, they may be running hot by next month or August. So that really has no relevance. And what J&J needs to do, as far as I'm concerned, do we have an engineer, are you our engineer on all of our bids?
I'm not qualified for heating and air.
That's not my field.
Okay. So do we, so is it normal practice for the city to accept information, data from someone who's making the bid? Or if we need information, technical information, we can't use the information given by the person that is making the bid, because if they tell us anything that's contrary, then we're gonna be stuck with a contract that, I'm saying there should be an outside person.
Well, you could hire a mechanical or heat and air conditioning engineer to set up your bid package if that's, you know, if you want to go that way. A lot of bids taken in the past by the city was outlined by the city manager or whomever what generally needed to be done, and the contractors would specify what they were gonna do and, you know, what specs it met. It's been done without hiring a mechanical engineer, a civil engineer, structural engineer, or an architect a lot of times, depending on the scope of the project. You know, if it's a new building, you know, go repairs, a lot of times they're done with contractors submitting proposals and then comparing the 2 or 3 proposals to see if they're all talking about the same thing.
Okay, well, this is what I propose. Then J&J gives us a letter stating that this 5-ton air conditioner first, a letter saying that, hold on, let's see. I don't have a letter out. We don't have anything from J&J. Okay, stating that they could not finish the job as proposed. Because, with the reasons on it. And then we'll need for them to tell us this 5-ton air conditioner will be sufficient based off the square footage of the building. And then once I received this letter from them stating, since we didn't have an engineer on this bid, the letter stating that this 5-ton, well, that they could not do the job like the bid said, and the reason why. And then that they that this 5-ton is sufficient for the building. And then we would do a change order. So they have to submit this with a change order, because I've never seen it. And once they've submitted the change order to us, then the council will vote on the change order, and then we will proceed from there.
Just so, make sure everybody's aware, this was discovered after construction had begun. J&J stopped work, they notified the city. He is a licensed contractor. His biggest concern with what was taking place now was it was not proper. There was a 6-ton outside and a 5-ton inside that was not giving adequate cooling. The most that air handler could handle up top was 5 tons. He did advise us as to his recommendation. He did check the square footage, and the city recommended approval of those changes due to the fact that construction was underway. This was not something that was handled prior to construction. This was all, as far as what he did, he followed the rules. He notified us, we agreed with the proposals. He is the licensed contractor, and we've dealt with this contractor on many different occasions, and no reason to doubt what he has told us. But that is the pleasure of the council.
As I say, all change orders need to come through the council. And we need this information from him because that will be a request. And it has to be approved by the council. But we're gonna need all the information he can give us because we'll need to make a decision.
Mr. City Manager, do you have a copy of the original change order?
I mean, it's on your package, the memo, and you can see that it was approved. Mr. Fernie made the on-site consultation. I agreed with it, I've looked at the alterations, and I approved it at the bottom.
And this was on the 29th?
Yes, sir. I believe that was a Wednesday.
Check was presented to be signed on one day.
Mr. Griffin sent that other unit back that was the improper unit at his expense and replaced it with the appropriate air handler. And I think that's reflected in your information from us.
Okay, I'll read this. It says, I was notified by J&J Heating and Air that a 6-ton unit that was to be replaced had a 5-ton air handler located in the ceiling. 6-ton unit and a 5-ton air handler in the ceiling. The 6-ton unit with the 6-ton air handler that he ordered to replace it would require extensive structural changes to support the 6-ton air handler. Structural changes in the ceiling. The existing ceiling joist would not support the bigger air handler. His recommendation was to install another 5-ton air handler in the ceiling and match it with the 5-ton unit on the outside. The mismatched combination unit 6-ton, 5-ton that is being replaced is probably the cause for some of the AC problems we had. Probably. He would send the 6-ton units back at his expense, and replace them with a 5-ton unit on the outside and a 5-ton air handler in the ceiling. It is my recommendation that we replace the 6-ton outside AC with a 5-ton unit and install a 5-ton air handler in the ceiling as he has recommended. This does still not state. I would need something for him stating that this 5-ton can handle this building. I believe it's a little over 10,000 square foot. That it will handle this 10,000 square foot. I need specifics. We need specifics. Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, your recommendation is that they should have kept the mixed match unit, 6-ton outside, 5-ton unit?
That is not my recommendation.
I'm asking.
My recommendation is that we should have been notified, so we could have made a decision based off information. And I was never notified because a change order should only be modified or should be executed upon council's voting because the money is the city's money, and we just need specifics. He's a contractor, and so he should understand that I need specifics, that this 5-ton can handle a building of this square footage, and then the council will vote on the change order, and he'll get this money. But obviously,
So the work has already been completed and done by J&J Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electric. The defects director has already stated that it's adequate. The previous manufacturer who put the original system in has provided us information that says that it was a mismatched system and that this is a way to rectify the problem. So I think that when services And I totally understand what you're saying in regards to the fact that the council was not notified of the change order. I'm gonna probably just venture to say that was some sort of mistake or snafu, but the city manager does have the authority to make adjustments. So the change order is separate from a company who's already provided services. They should be paid. Now, if there's an issue, Mr. Blankhamsey stated before, if it proves to be inefficient for working for the renters in the DFAC building, then we can go about the warranty process and rectify it after the fact. And Mr. Herring has already stated that this is under warranty, whereby they would not have been under warranty had we kept the mixed match system. So today, I think that, because I thought about this from last Tuesday, and I think that as a city council and city government, business of the city, J&J Heating needs to be paid for their services. So in lieu of the additional information, I think that would be fair that they get the additional information, or that we get the additional information to protect the amount of money that we've already spent. I did ask the city attorney to draft up a directive so that J&J Heating can be paid, and all 4 council members can sign this directive to pay J&J Heating if the council decides that they feel it is appropriate that they be paid for the services, and then we can kind of deal with the city manager and the purchasing director's concerns that the mayor has with the change order and an executive session at a later date. Ms. Brown.
Now, we said, President, and if we have an issue with the change order process, then, from this point forward, we can set those things into effect. We need to be notified before, change orders are approved. But I think we need to make a decision on this particular issue.
Okay. Well, I learned something in the military, and it went this way. A lack of planning on someone else's end does not constitute an emergency on my end. And the city should not have to just fork out money because a job was done, and it was not approved. The council has to approve the money because we set a budget, and how can we keep up with the budget if we let someone else spend the money, and then if anything goes wrong, no one's going to be talking to the city manager. They're going to be talking to the council. So as I said, we need information, specifics from J&J stating that this 5-ton is sufficient with this, for this building, and square footage, technical information, so that if this thing doesn't work in August, they will come out and replace it at their cost.
It's under the warranty, Mr. Mayor, and I would like to.
A warranty is only because of the match, a 5-ton versus a 5-ton. A warranty does not cover if you got the wrong size unit in your building. If I need a truck that's gonna pull 10 tons, I go out and buy a car that only pull 5 tons. I can't take it back and say, hey, your warranty, the warranty is, this only states that if you have a mismatched system, the warranty will be voided. It does not say that this 5-ton is sufficient for the building.
It's saying, what it's saying is, it's saying that it was incorrectly installed, and the 6-ton was incorrectly installed, and to rectify the problem, they put the matching system in. And I'm not, I don't think that there's a need to go back and forth on if it works. I will, if there's legal remedy and legal recourse to fix this. I just don't see that this is just a major issue. The DFAC's office it actually doesn't even operate with a full staff anymore from originally to what they had. They're using less office space and they have less people working there. And we've already received a letter from them saying that at this point that it's sufficient and it's working adequately. So I think that the correct thing would be, at this time would be, because, and you've stated this on several times, that the council needs to make a decision. Mr. Blankenship has already expressed that at this point, we need to rectify the problem. So a motion needs to be made to pay J&J Heating for the services that they provided. And then we can deal with the, issue with the change order, staff and personnel, and also we can deal with the issue of whatever else seems to be the issue, because I don't see, we've done this on several occasions where we buy services, if we've ordered something and it doesn't seem to be adequate, there has to be a method by which things can be corrected. And just to say that we're just not gonna pay a person who provided service for us is, to me, is.
I didn't say that. I said I need a letter, is what I said. And if you don't want the letter, the council needs the letter. The city needs the letter. The people need the letter. And that's.
Well, then I think, Mr. Mayor, then it would be appropriate if you were saying that the council needs the letter to see if you can get a council member to make a motion to direct the city manager to get a letter from J&J's Heating saying that, because all directives to the city manager need to go to a vote to the council, so.
That is not true. I'm the chief executive officer, he's the chief administrative officer. There's a legislative, there's an executive, and there's a judicial part of the government. I am part of the legislative and the executive part of the government. The charter states that I am the chief executive officer of the city. So I have powers outside of this meeting. The council does not, but I do. And so I have directed him to get this information from J&J, or if J&J doesn't want to provide this information, then I guess they need to figure out something. But
The units have been installed since April the 27th, and I think we need to pay this man.
Well, we follow procedure up here. And that's the only way I need to. That's the only way that I can't do it any other way. I can't be. If someone does something improper, we can't justify it by continuing on with it.
I have a question, Maggie.
No, sir.
Does it have anything to do with this?
Yes.
Okay, I need to know your name and your address.
Rufus Garrison, 713 Meadow Road. If this does not work, these units, whose shoulder will it fall on? The manager or you? As it stands.
The council will be blamed because we're the only ones that can make this transaction happen.
Thank you.
Phillips,
Name?
903 South Florida Street. The work been done, and we got the guarantee that if it don't work from them on the warranty and stuff, why are we wasting time on the same issue over and over again?
I don't have a guarantee. I don't have a
The
guarantee.
warranty, the guarantee is the warranty.
This is not a warranty. This what you showed me. I tell you
I
what.
hadn't seen that though.
Okay, all right.
There is a warranty on the original, I mean, it does, from the original bill.
It's the only time you get to read them.
Stand for point of information, please. Why can't we just supply what the mayor wants? He's not saying that he's not gonna get paid.
Exactly.
He's just asking for information. My name is Reverend Braswell. I live in Douglas, and I'm very active in meetings there. So I'm here now, so I'm gonna become active in Quitman. But the mayor asked for this. Why such a big deal? The guy's gonna get paid. Now, if he that broke, he shouldn't have been doing the work. That's number one. The only thing the mayor's asking for the information. So why can't the council give him the information so that the guy can get paid? So if he like that, he at the point of filing bankruptcy, then you don't need to be using that contract in no way, because his name is not good. He's just asking for information. Why can't we give that information? It sounds to me you need a lawyer, and the community needs to supply you a lawyer, and we will do that so this meeting can go in order along with the mayor. Thank you.
I don't think that we're denying the mayor to give the information. He can look at the warranty, I'm sure, Mr. Herring, at any time, right?
Yeah. Just get the letter, be done with it.
This is not a
I
warranty.
think the mayor could have gone down there and talked with him at any time.
Well,
It's not his
he wants to check,
responsibility.
right? Okay, well, he needs to come
Just,
down here.
Just one point there. Last week when you were here, Mr. Griffin did offer to come up here and speak with you. You said that would make no bearing on it whatsoever.
Because I said once before, the council
And I
has
think
to
Mr.
approve
Phillips'
something.
point was, we have a warranty on this equipment. We
A
have
warranty only on the equipment, not that it will cover
This
this
man
building.
was willing to come talk with you last Friday and offered to. I called him, told you, and you said it would not make any difference.
It won't, because the council needs to make the decision. So he needs to come speak to the council.
And I think that's what we're saying. We're saying as a council, and the vote has to come through the council. If we're saying that this is adequate enough information for us as a council, then, because you keep saying that it has to go before the council, you've
But
also
you have no
stated to.
information. This is nothing. This is just, I put words on paper and then I guess I'll get anything I want from the city. Because this is not what I asked for. If they refuse to do that, for what reason, I don't know, then we'll just fall back on the contract. 6-ton, 5-ton, which was not installed, which the council didn't approve. And then they
It
can.
wasn't even it wasn't our council though. This happened prior to most of us being even on the council. This is
The bid just happened, as far as I know. It happened.
So we should go back to the 6 5-ton and pay them $400 more?
right.
No, he should have come and pointed out to us as a contractor, because I thought contractors were professionals, that this is what you have, and this is what I recommend, but he comes with specifics. And without specifics, we can't make a.
Well, I think the council agreed to go ahead and pay them
I think the motion should be, what we've already, if J&J provides you on their letterhead what you're asking for in exchange for their check, I don't see a problem with that. What you're asking for, they give you a piece of paper, give them what you're asking them for. Now, Mr. Mayor, we do not require the contractor to come before the council to explain anything. Not one contractor. Unless we have a problem, as we did with the garbage people, we requested that they come before us to explain their contract change. So if we're asking for J&J to present something on their letterhead, explain their changes and why they did that, they went the long way around. If you want the short way for them to just give it to you on their letterhead, and you give them their check, I have no problem with that. So if you have a problem with them giving you what you're asking for and you returning them their check.
That's not the procedure. I said we need specifics, because this change order was only a request. The request can only be approved by the council. So this, I don't know what happened, but I know what's going to happen. And we need specific information to cover the city, so we're not stuck with a 5-ton that doesn't work, and then have a 5-6-ton unit and change the ceiling anyway. No. So we need information. We need information, and that is.
This looks terrible.
Well, I guess if it would have been done right in the first place, then we wouldn't be in this position.
We okay this.
No, but we okayed it.
We okay.
So it has to be a chain that we have to okay
The
the
city
change.
managers make a minimum change.
Well, that's gonna stop, because we have to make the decision. We are the only ones that are capable of making the decisions. Because I'm not passing this.
You mean we don't want that? We don't want to pay for it? The city managers?
We were elected by the people. He's not elected.
I understand that, but we hired him.
There's no faith. There's no faith. There's records. There's no faith, because if that's the case, and whoever he hires, they have faith in him. He has faith in them, correct? So so then no one does anything wrong around here. But I learned in the military, this
I ain't worried about that.
is the only way. This is the only way I can prove you talk to me. Otherwise, you say we never had a conversation. So
We got to do it.
well, I am ready to move to the next item. Well, if he wants to get paid, then he needs to come to the council. That's it. Or he can take his contract and go wherever he wants to get the contract.
I'm gonna try once again to make a formal motion
No.
to pay J&J Heating,
I'm the only one that could call the vote.
to
So
pay J&J
this
Heating.
formal motion is
And
denied.
there's a motion on the table to
It
pay
matters
them.
not. It matters not. I
Is
will
there a
not call a
second?
vote. So, you're out of order. You said, are you talking now, Mrs. Spencer? You're supposed to address all questions. If you read your Robert's Rules of Order and your charter, are to be addressed to the chairperson.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Mayor.
am the chairperson. There is no sidebar in here. There will be order in here.
Thank you, sir.
There will be order in the
But you were
city.
talking while she was talking.
I can cease and desist any discussion here at any time I see fit. Okay.
That's what it's about.
So,
That's what it's saying.
now let's start over again. Item number 1. There will be no vote until we get this information. Are we moving on to item number 2?
Yes, yes.
I will go at the board's direction.
Or you go at the mayor's direction, because the meeting is run by the mayor. I am directing you to go on to item number 2.
I respectfully decline.
You respectfully decline?
Yes.
Then I guess, until you go on with item number 2, then I guess we'll stay here until you go on with item number 2. You respectfully decline.
Gerald, can you give some direction here as to what we're gonna do?
You will address me.
May I address the attorney, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, your agenda, part of the meeting, Mr. City Manager, so, I think that, these are things that you want to bring before the board, and if you're deciding that there's nothing else that you want to bring before the board today, I would suppose that, that would be your prerogative, subject to the council overruling.
I suppose. Okay.
Well, I will be glad to move on, because I do have a statement I'd like to make at the end of the meeting.
Mr. Mayor, as I look through the rest of this agenda, and there are other business licenses and things to be approved, as item number 8, it's TNT Fish Market. Are you going to request that they provide you documentation of what kind of fish they're going to be selling, what they're going to do to approve their business license?
Yes.
Their procedure is that the police chief and the fire chief and the health inspector go by.
So we follow those procedures in other areas as well.
Okay, well this is not bidded out. You're talking about a $20-some thousand air conditioning system, comparing it to someone selling fish on the market.
All right.
No, I'm saying I'm compared to every single decision that the council makes in board. That's my point.
Well, this fish
I don't mean to put their business, but I'm asking, there are other things, other bidded things, and the bid, we've already approved the bid.
not the change order.
So I will offer that from now on, if you want to.
Not for now, we're gonna fix this one right now.
Well, we're behind the ball on that.
We're not behind the ball because I was never informed about it.
You've been informed now.
Okay, well, that's a little bit too, so because we're behind the ball from someone else, I should rush and make decisions that are not warranted.
We're not rushing, this is happening on April 27th.
Okay, well, I tell you what, since you all are so concerned, why didn't you call G&J and tell them to be at this meeting today?
I did request him to be at this meeting, Mayor. This man, and I think it's unfair for anybody to state that this man can't pay his bill. He is a very reputable
I
contractor.
did not state that.
Well, it has been said.
Okay.
This gentleman is an extremely reputable contractor in our community. He is licensed. And we do have Mr. Delaney here. We can't operate without change orders. We do community development block grants.
But you call me when one is needed. You call me and then you sit here and tell the people that you called me for 5 that never happened, and then maybe we will have some problems.
I didn't say that.
Okay, but I'm just saying, this is the way it's going to be. So you call me, and then I will call a meeting, because I have, granted by the charter, the power to call a meeting. If the city doesn't want to show up to the call meeting to discuss this change order, then I guess we'll be in the situation we're in right now. Because, so from now on, you know, it's, I guess we need to,
I'd just like to say, at this point, there are probably 11 other items on here. And the way that our agenda is written, these things say at the pleasure of the council. What's the point? Because last Tuesday, the majority of the people who are in the room tonight, last Tuesday, who were in the room today, were here last Tuesday night. If, Mr. Mayor, you are, in your opinion, the end-all, be-all, and all things must be of what you agree on. If that's the case, you could have approved all these things by yourself last Tuesday, and then the four of us don't need to be here. Because if we don't have the
I didn't
ability
say I was
to
in
vote
no
on
deal.
an item.
Listen,
because
you're not gonna sit there and give us.
I'm saying,
Let me explain something to you.
I was talking.
No, I
and
didn't give you permission to talk. You just.
You did.
No, I didn't. I did not give you permission. I did not say, you are out of order.
Mr. Mayor,
Now, listen.
at this point,
Listen,
this.
let me explain something to you. I'm here to make sure that procedure is followed, that regulation is followed, that rule is followed, that order
You're
is.
the only
in there.
person who
But
is
no.
not. It is the chair's responsibility to call for a vote when a motion is made. Bottom line, point blank.
So even
The
if
motions
it's
are put on
something
the table.
illegal, even if it says.
Even if it's something illegal,
Oh,
to
see,
follow
that's
the
where you
order,
are
even if it's
confused.
something illegal.
That is it.
The rules
Enough.
state that
Even if it's something
when
that the
the
rules don't
motion's on
state
the table,
anything.
a
The
vote
rules
has
don't
to be
state that
called.
you would make illegal votes in the meeting. The rules
That
don't
was
state
that
that
was
you
your
can,
example.
that you can circumvent, but that's what you believe. You said it. You said it. So I
I
tell
think
you.
y'all need to table this motion, go into executive session and solve this instead of being in front of all of these.
Okay, I'm
So,
for real.
It's a shame.
Because y'all looking bad.
It's a shame.
It is.
Table it and go into executive session.
That should have been done
Solve
last
this
week.
issue.
Is there a motion to table this and go into executive session?
You got all power, you call
You
me.
should.
If not,
You don't,
you want to go into executive session?
I want to fix the issue. If we can't fix the issue out here, I mean, I don't understand. Reverend Braswell, you stood up and said that the information that he's provided, is it not clear if he gets information he's provided to give the check? I'm not understanding the disconnect or the confusion at that point. Once she has information that's provided, you give the check. Is that right? Is that not right? When he gets the information, he gives the check. Is that not right?
What I'm saying here is disrespect to the chair. That's what I'm saying. And, you know, you're supposed to call the motion on the chair. The chair can call the motion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
So
the chair's job to call the
that's the
motion.
chair job to call the motion.
That's right.
And everybody want to call the motion.
But nobody's called the motion. We were asking the mayor to call for the motion. No one else has called the motion.
If you don't call for it, you just don't get it.
We're gonna do the same thing in executive session. There's more business of the city to be done. We'll work this out with J&J's in there. This is embarrassing, and I'm appalled to be a part of it. That, because had this been any contract from anyone else, we would say it's already been approved prior to this meeting, and that we should pay them. They've made attempts, several attempts now to provide you information that you're the only one requesting. They're willing to do that. The system is up under warranty. Let's move on. Let's move on, because what I'm duty bound to do is take care of the business of the city.
All right, let's, item number 2.
Item number 2 is GMA voting delegate, council meeting appointed voting delegates, the annual business meeting to be held Sunday, June 28th, from 3:30 to 4:30.
Is there a motive, is there a motion to appoint a voting delegate?
Ms. Bowers has been our
Are you gonna read that, Ms. Brown?
And name of me, but I think you would be good. Who's gonna be there Sunday? Who'll be there Sunday? I guess we'll all be there, won't we? I'll be there Sunday. I'm saying, yeah. So, if Ms. Bauer, you've always voted, we'll make a motion that Ms. Bauer remains the voting delegate for the meeting item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Our next item is the Electech loan. Staff is requesting a vote to approve the Electech loan security changes This will result in 40 to 50 new jobs to our community.
This is another issue. You wanna skip this one, or you wanna go ahead and say what I said last time? Okay, what I said last time was the fact that Electech has a loan, and Mr. Spencer pointed out that the loan said that the land belonged to Electech, so for our revolving loan fund. So, but the land belongs to the Development Authority. So, I said this would need to go back before the loan committee. I assumed it went before the loan committee, because if they had to approve the loan and it was based off Electech owning this land, I think that it may be a big issue if they find out that it's not. And if not, we don't handle those numbers like that. So we send it back to the loan committee so they can send us a letter saying that it is no problem that Electech does not own this land. Our recommendation still stays the same. And but until then, I will not call the vote.
Mr. Mayor, you received that information from our attorney and their attorney. It's our attorney and their attorney's job to get together to make sure that the city is protected, and they have recommended that we approve the loan. This has been held up for 2 months, and it's holding up 40 jobs.
So you know, somebody that wants all this money, well, they came to the meeting, but people walked out last time, and you just won't give a letter from a loan committee. It's not even from him that we need this letter. It's from our own loan committee.
Our loan committee offers us their opinion.
Okay.
And we take their opinion, and we also take the opinion of the city attorney and of their attorney. They worked it out, because you didn't say in your statement that what we're talking about is we went from third lien holder on land to third lien holder on equipment and on property. So we still are protected under the lien holder. So I'm not understanding.
I never said any liens on the equipment. I don't know if they own the equipment. I don't know anything. I've never talked to Electech because you all walked out that day. So I'm saying I need it. So this is how we're gonna do it. I ask for information, you all refuse to get it. So okay, well I told you then. Then I need something from the loan committee stating that it is no problem that they don't own this land. Matter of fact,
The recommendation came from the recommendation comes from the loan committee, and then that's what we deal with. They've already recommended that we make the loan. They recommended that we make the loan under different conditions, and the last time we discussed it, you wanted those conditions changed so that we would be the lien holder on the equipment, and Mr. Walker agreed with you. Gerald went back, made the adjustments to the contract, and we were the lien holder, including the equipment. And still, 40 to 50 jobs for this community is still being held
your letter
up.
from the loan committee, because I've never received one since you said that. Did I see your copy? Because I don't have one. Okay.
I didn't bring a copy, but we were all submitted the information from the loan committee in agendas however many months ago that it was. We all voted on it, and that was months ago. So no, I don't have it today.
So we're gonna hold up 50 jobs.
I guess you are. If you're not gonna.
We are not. We're ready. We're prepared today.
If the loan committee is not gonna give us any information, then I guess somebody's holding up the job, but it's not me, because I said, you give me a letter stating from someone that does the job that we appointed them to do, that this is okay. And if you refuse or don't want or don't think we need any information from anybody about anything, then I don't know what kind of counsel this
Well,
is.
I also have another letter here hoping that the city council members, it is a directive that will allow me to sign off on the loan for Electech if you all would be in agreement as a city
And
council.
you think you can circumvent the charter? Do you think you can circumvent the charter? I tell you what, this charter before the Georgia General Assembly, you're out of order, and you are out of order.
Can sign
Well,
the
you're
letter.
talking while she's talking.
Because I never told her she could speak in the first place. You were talking like you usually do, but I didn't think you could speak.
And it was fine until I started to say anything that you weren't in agreement with.
Because all these directors, go ahead, Mr. Rice.
I do give honor and respect to commissioners, the mayor, Spencer, and everyone else concerned. But but we are adults.
Absolutely.
We are city commissioners, professionals, and we should conduct ourselves in a professional manner. And any organization, they got guidelines,
That's right.
and we follow the guidelines.
That's right.
Orders don't come from the bottom, they come from the top.
That's right.
And our job is to respect each other. We all are Brooks Countyans. I'm a migrate to Brooks County. I love Brooks County. I've been to many places and seen a lot of things. But I decided Brooks County was my home. And I don't want to see nothing like this going on. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. We ought to sit down and, like somebody mentioned, if you got an issue with a problem, go into executive session. Don't flare. Or in a situation, order like this. Don't flare like this. Let's act like human beings. We all God's children. We all Brooks Countyans, and let's act like Brooks Countyans.
I would just like to say this, with all due respect, Mr. Rice, you are totally and completely right. We have gone through these, we've tried executive session conversations with our mayor before and private on several different occasions. We are trying, I would like to think, and it saddens me that anyone would think that I'm here being unprofessional. I have been in executive session with Mayor Brown, and he has been insulting, confrontational with members of the council. The reason why we're discussing this in this forum and the demeanor by which the mayor is handling his council shows you we have all tried. We've offered compromise even here today. On every issue, we've offered a compromise as a way to ensure economic development, to protect the rights of all people, not just the power of one person. Every single thing on this agenda has to be approved through us as a group. And we're not here saying that we're unwilling to work with each other. We're not here to do that. We are not here to do that. We are trying to get the work done that needs to be done. That's it. That's all we're doing. So it's not a matter of us trying to disrespect Mr. Mayor Brown in any regards. We're not. We've tried to work. We're trying to work together. We've offered all sort of options before us. That's not it. But sometimes it feels, it's horrible to feel as if people come in here with one thing on their mind, that we are here against Mr. Brown. We are not here against Mr. Brown. We are not here against him. We are trying to work as a council. He's the only individual who's saying that no matter what anyone else's opinion is on an issue, I am not going to work outside of what my opinion is. We've offered, even on this thing with the check, we've offered many different ways to rectify it, and he has not agreed to rectify it at all. So it's unfair. I feel like it's unfair to say that we're being unprofessional in any regard.
Hey, I want to say one thing. Thanks, Mayor. The problem I have right here, right? Y'all come in with y'all executive session here instead of doing that outside, and come in with your things that y'all approved on, and do the approved things and nothing y'all want to approve on. Do that outside there somewhere. Come here, then y'all approved on already, bring those to the people, just see what's going on. Because now I see this whole, people just confused up here. A whole bunch of y'all. All right. And then you look like you're evil.
Thank you. All right. So, item number 4.
We're not gonna do anything on the electric.
I need a letter from the loan committee.
That's 50 jobs that's coming to our community, and you don't want that.
We have to have order. So no matter what, we just do it any kind of way.
No,
So if I go and break the rules and bring a job in here that's got 100 people,
My name is Joe Bradley, and I live here in this community. I'm a migrant here myself, and I love it. But I mean, listening to you all here today, I don't understand. If everybody is for it, and you say you have executive power, what's the big deal? What's the holdup?
because my feet are being held to the fire to follow procedure. It matters not what you look out and see in. It matters what I read. It says, well, I don't care if Mr. Bradley says something. I'm going to do what Mr. Bradley says. This book I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna follow state law. I'm not gonna follow federal law. I'm not gonna follow our rules that we made. I'm just gonna do whatever brings 50 jobs here, whether it's illegal or not. And that's not, I
So
can't
the
do
charter
that.
is asking you to have a letter from, Lake Tech, the charter, it says that in that book. Did you need a letter from Lake Tech?
No.
It says that?
The charter says
I
that,
know what it
the
says.
charter
I
doesn't
know
say,
I know what it says.
We are not
the
breaking
charter
the law.
doesn't say stuff like, the charter tells us how we would conduct
The
business.
charter says that we shall
in
have a loan committee that has asked us to approve
Okay.
the loan.
Okay,
So I don't understand.
the conditions have changed.
And we send it back and the attorneys approve the conditions.
The
That the attorneys that you said
I
change the
haven't seen
verbiage.
any letters from anyone.
You gotta sign.
Could I see your letter?
You have to sign the contract. So
Could
if
I-
you really want to sign it, you
Can I
can sign
see your letter that you received saying that this is okay?
it.
that-
It goes to the mayor.
Huh?
It goes to the mayor. You sign,
Oh,
you sign the
I don't
contract.
have the letter.
That, we have to approve it, and the juror will provide you with the letter to sign.
Okay, well,
And you can read it.
I don't have any letters from the loan committee at all. Do you have any? Could you share them with me?
We had that months ago.
Huh?
I
I
have
don't
none.
have any letters from the loan committee. Do you have any?
Mr. Mayor, can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, the loan committee met in a public meeting months ago. They made a recommendation back to the council that this loan be approved, and this council approved it.
Based off of the land.
Based off the
been on the table.
based off the creditworthiness of that company. Is that correct, Mr. Spencer?
Yes, sir, and I think there's some confusion as to the lateral change. I have been assured that either the development authority would pledge a third lien, priority lien, on the property to secure the loan, or the lease from the development authority to Electech would be assigned with, of course, it would amount to a third priority lien upon the property also. So really, it boils down to it. The change that needed to be approved was the idea of the development authority giving the deed to secure debt to secure Electech's loan, same priority lien, or that we would take an assignment of the leasehold interest, which would put us in the same legal position as far as foreclosure or enforcing our rights to collect. In either occasion, the city would wind up with a third lien on the 18.79 acres. And there was really, I don't think there was any mention of equipment in the original transmitted to us.
So we just need something from the loan committee stating that these conditions are acceptable. That this change does not affect this deal that we're about to make, this contract we're about to sign.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Do you check out all the information before I come here, or you just wait till you get here to ask all the questions?
No, I'll read this if I get
Or
it.
do you ask the people that, council members, that this is what we want to talk about when we get here? Or you wait till you get here, then we'll do all the
We
questions?
don't have workshops. We don't have workshops.
Not a workshop, you call a meeting.
Huh?
Just call a meeting. Why are you seeing the people here in Brooks County, Quitman? Shall, this stuff we need to discuss already. 'Cause to get here, then you want to discuss what you want to do here.
That's what we
That should
call
be done,
workshops.
is
That's
it
a
right?
workshop.
Well, they need to plan workshops then, so if people get the stuff, if you understand what's going on out here. But I'm here, to me, y'all confused.
I just have one question. Why wasn't the mayor provided with the information?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You
I mean,
He was provided with information.
Excuse me.
He was provided with information.
She let us
He was provided.
You're saying he was provided with the
Absolutely, we just said the
information.
committee has-
Was there a letter? You just said the letter doesn't come to me, it comes to the mayor.
It
The
doesn't.
mayor is saying, I don't have a letter. So if the mayor doesn't have a letter, but the letter, it was supposed to come to him, the question is, where is the letter? There should be a
Okay,
letter.
there's an answer to your
Where
question.
is the letter?
The letter
It didn't
the
come
letter
to-
came from the loan committee months ago. We're not waiting for a letter now, we're at the
It
contract.
didn't come to the mayor. He just said he didn't
It
get
did
it.
come to the mayor. Mayor, you didn't get a letter months ago from the loan committee approving this
Do you
loan?
have yours?
Oh, wow.
I may shed some light. There was not minutes were provided from that meeting.
just don't have it today.
Repeat that.
He said
The
that
loan committee reviewed the loan. They made a recommendation in open meeting. It was transferred, or it was communicated back to the city council. That information was given to the city council, and the city council approved their recommendation to move forward.
not that the land did not belong to the company, because the contract doesn't state that. He was wanting to change the contract to state that the Brooks County Development Authority owns the land. So that was not approved under those circumstances. The loan committee, if there was the loan committee reviewing the contract, or everything they were doing was verbal? Were they reviewing the contract that?
I wasn't there at the meeting, Mr. Mayor, so, yeah, all I can go by is I was given, just like the board was, copies of the minutes attached to my agenda package back then, and when I checked the title, I discovered that it's still titled the Development Authority's name, and of course, there are reasons that it's still titled in there, such as, tax-free for a certain period of time to the loan matures or whatever. So,
Mr. Mayor, that decision already been made, but let's move on, please, sir. You're not gonna sign the contract.
Is there a letter?
We had it months ago.
Somebody should have it on file here in the office.
It is in the office.
My name is George Boss Rhymes, and I'm not the city here, but I do have own land in the county which affect the city. And I'm just going to be very brief and short. And I guess it's kind of the sentiments of these people. But it seemed to me somewhere I read, peace and harmony being the strength of all institutions.
Correct.
And in addition to that, somebody said in the book of Isaiah, let us reason together. Now, if all we need to get these two items that I've heard is the letter, just a letter, then let's get the letter. I mean, what's so hard about asking for a letter just to satisfy what the mayor may feel, or maybe it's not even legal, maybe it's without justification. But why not just, what harm will the letter hurt by getting it? I think some people say they have seen it, so if we don't have it, let's just get the letter, and then if you had that letter today, we all could sit and say, they are professionals. But that's all they want is a letter.
Mr.
Yes,
Brown,
yes.
Did you not hear my proposal that Mr. Mayor get the letter from J&J's and you get them to check at the same time, and you declined that? Did you not?
Yeah, but no, you ask a question and yes to me. Now, yes, but here's a catch to it. The catch that I understand, maybe he want the letter before he do that. In other words,
if he gets a letter before he does that, and he takes him a few hours to review the letter, can he then get them to check? We're willing to compromise.
I'm through.
At any point.
Let's move on to item number 4.
Item number 4, Mr. Gary Christian would like to address the council.
Mr. Christian, are you here?
Yes, y'all are really familiar with my situation, so we just need to get with it and get it over with.
Well, Mr. Christian, we're gonna need some details on that. We're gonna need, what are we doing? We're gonna need those details. We wanna work with you, we wanna get that bitch, whatever you need. But we need those details.
Well, the mayor, the city manager, and all those, been out there, they seen it already.
Well,
I haven't seen
we haven't
any
seen it.
letters.
We need a letter. I mean, we're just trying to, we send a president, you know, we already told you, we already talked with you, we'll get your dish taken care of. But if we're sending a president on letters and things where we're requesting of the city council, then we need that.
Mr. Christian, whatever you say here is a matter of official record. So if you state what your problem is, then now you'll be addressing the council. So just state, just tell us, because some of us may not actually.
Well, the city has started already on this project behind my house.
Is it, excuse me, Mr. Christian, you want to tell us what you're discussing?
No.
Okay, well, then I guess you're out of order.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Christian.
We discussing this easement the city got on my property, this big ditch, where all this water is coming from the north, I don't know where it's coming from, but they got it routed through that way, and they're winding up down there, in Evans Lane line through. We put some pipes in there so I could get my trailer in there, and the city was gonna go continue after I got the trailer there, and I need to know what's going on with that.
All right, the city, and who are you referring to that told you this information, the city? Was it, I mean, just tell us
It
who
was
it
you,
And,
was all of y'all, really? When we started,
okay.
y'all agreed to do this.
Okay, so, all right, and so it's a matter of public record already then, so we don't do, we still need to look at it. So, okay, so what's going on? I thought we were working on it. I thought it was being.
I will have to go back and measure. I thought the pipe was installed to the length y'all had approved. I don't recall what that is, but I will check.
Yeah, you're talking about a pipe on the
The
ditch.
pipe in the ditch, the process was supposed to be covering that ditch up, some bigger pipes in it, because the pipe in there now is not doing nothing. All the water run over the pipe. It's like a river come through there.
All right, so. He said.
I can only tell y'all what you directed me to. That was to extend the pipe on out. We did. We can put some water breaks in there if y'all choose to. But pipe has been installed. You and I have been down there and seen the pipe, Mr. Mayor. You know it's there.
But the pipe's not big enough, no pipe's not big enough. That water come over the pipes, it come out the ditch. So, I'm figuring you need a bigger pipe or you block it off there, run the water somewhere else. I don't need that water going through there like that.
I can't. I'm not an engineer. This was a recommendation to extend the existing pipe up the road. Whenever you close a pipe in, and I think we have a qualified engineer, he'll tell you, you're restricting water. We can put a bigger pipe in, but you're gonna have to put it in all the way out to the drain, not just what we have placed in there. You have to move it all the way out. At that point, I think you would have to contact Mr. Devane and let him design the thing and give you a price and a bid, beyond the scope of what our city forces to do.
With this,
And you and I were out there when the pipe was being installed, so you know what's there.
yes, the pipe, is this one of these ditches that allow water from the city goes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is one of the main ditches in the city, okay. So I guess we need to make a decision on whether we're gonna go ahead and get the engineer to see what he needs to do to fix the situation. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I think we need to have the city engineer do his, we're making a blind motion. We're not, what are we approving? We don't know how much it's gonna cost the city to fix it. I think we need to have a directive to the city manager to find out the cost analysis, see how much it's gonna be, then we approve it. So you can't make a motion on just to approve it, we don't know what we're approving. We could be approving the city to spend $200 million. That wouldn't be feasible. So we now need the information from the give the directive to the city manager to find out what it's gonna take to fix Mr. Christian's problem, and I think the council's gonna agree.
All right, so, yeah, was that your motion to?
No, that's not a motion. I think that needs to be a directive, but not a motion.
So, if we can get with the city engineer.
You're approving the expenses through the city engineer. He's not gonna do it for free. This man's in business. I mean, I don't mean that.
I'm not on y'all's payroll unless
That's
I'm
correct.
correct.
I mean, I will have.
But I'd be glad to get there.
I understand, and I did not mean any disrespect by that. But Mr. Devane will need to be compensated, and I don't think he can tell you right now what that fee would be to resolve. And I'm certainly not putting myself out again on something like this. This needs to be a direction from y'all.
Because there's a lot of water going through that ditch.
It's a lot of water going through all the ditches.
Well, you said this is one.
Can I get a motion?
Okay, I've been by there, I've seen it on the road. So, excuse me. So, yes, we need to. Yes, we need to. For the city engineer to.
One more thing, Mayor, it's raw sewage in that ditch too. It's just not no water, sewage in there. Sewage. Sewage running that ditch all the time. Sewage.
Yeah, well, we're gonna direct the city manager to get the cost analysis of what, so we'll know what we are doing to fix your problem. We're definitely gonna try to get your problem fixed.
Thank you, council.
You're welcome.
You have a motion?
No, we did, it was a directive, not a motion.
I think you're gonna dismiss the city money. I think there needs to be a motion.
We need a motion. Sorry. Is there a second? All right, any questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hands. Okay, all opposed? Okay,
The directive to the city manager.
A motion.
To get the council, to get the cost analysis. A motion was made and seconded to,
You taking over the meeting. You can't do
we're in
that.
the question part.
You can't do that.
That's all.
Only the chair can carry a motion.
A vote already.
Would you please, Barry?
It's already.
I didn't know anything wrong that time.
No, it's been properly moved in second.
Yeah, exactly, we're in the question part.
Oh, the
I
only
didn't know
question
anything wrong
was
time.
that Ms. Bradley didn't understand,
Right.
didn't hear the motion.
Thank you.
Question was called.
Yeah, it
Call for a
was
vote.
called and
so,
voted.
So I wasn't wrong that time.
No, you weren't.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Just that all the council wasn't paying attention and didn't hear all the motions.
Second.
Did you get everything you need?
I believe so, with one abstaining from my business.
Yes, I almost heard the motion, I guess so, technically. Okay, all right, next.
Mr. Mayor, Jimmy Griffin has come in at the wishes of the mayor. I think if you could instruct him what to put on this letter. He's right here now. We can get the letter you're requesting before the end of this meeting, and we can effectively pay this gentleman. I think he can provide you with that right now as you requested.
Yes. State your name and address, sir.
Jimmy Griffin, 4354 ADL Highway, Quitman.
Did you get that on? City clerk? You got it, okay. And you're here representing?
J&J Heating and Air.
Okay.
Come right front, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, I guess you come in on the back end of the end of it. What happened was, the change orders that we have, they have to be approved by the council.
Okay.
And we didn't even know. I received a check to sign and then saw the difference in the amounts and started asking questions and found out that it was a change order that was not authorized by us. Which
Okay.
has to be authorized by us. So I said that we would need a letter stating from, because I got some letters saying mismatch system with board warranty, but that's not what I'm asking. What I'm saying is we need a letter stating that this 5-ton air conditioner would be sufficient for that building, not that building as a technical terms, like how many square foot each the building is.
Okay.
Saying that a 5-ton will handle it from you, and then,
Okay, that would be really simple to do because it's got another system on the opposite side that takes care of the same square footage that is a 5-ton, which is what this one should have been originally.
Okay, so we'll need this from you because it was a change from the original paperwork.
Okay.
And then once we get this, and if you have any questions, you can call back before you start typing. But I just need something to cover the city just in case the 5 tons are no good. And then, we don't want to get stuck with that.
I thoroughly understand that. I stand behind everything I do.
And then once we get it, then the council has to vote for the change order. And then once that's done, it's going to be signed.
That's not a problem. I can have that within an hour.
That's all I've been asking for.
Okay.
Would you get that right away?
Yes, I'll work on it right now.
If not, we won't be in the meeting anymore. We'll be able to get you.
Okay. I'll have it within an hour.
Thank you.
Is that all you need from me?
That's all, just that 5-ton to handle the square footage that is supported.
Okay.
As you said, it's 10 units on the building.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now the next item
Yes, the next item is the mayor's request to address the overflow pipes from a pond located on Northwest Street.
Okay. Would you like to say something first?
I want to answer any questions. I'm available.
All right. I found out that someone was digging a pond. That was, I guess, well, I don't know who actually dug the pond, but it's your pond.
It's my property,
Okay,
yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chip Carroll. So I said, what happened? Because you were on the agenda. And next thing you know, you were gone. So I was like, what happened? And so Mr. Spencer, I asked you, are there any, do we have anything in our charter? Because I started looking and started talking about cutting and grading and all this stuff. And what, I'll let you tell me what you told me about that.
Well, there was there's nothing in our zoning ordinance that covers ponds. I checked with RDC over there, and who actually wrote that ordinance. Most of the zoning ordinances for the cities and counties in their 20 county or so area. And I think Mr. Carroll spoke with the lady over at RDC also, and so there was I had no authority to either issue or to deny him a permit as zoning administrator.
Okay, I just wanted to get this straight. So I started looking through the charter, ordinances, and I looked back in the erosion of soil. It talks about erosion and sediment, because we started digging and stuff. I wasn't even talking about ponds per se, it's just talking about digging, but I think they refer to it as cutting. And so, and I saw some names in there, natural protection division, or
Department of Natural Resources.
yeah, so I didn't know their number, so I called the EPD.
Right.
And because I know we didn't check on anything, because he said there was nothing that we know about, and this was talking real technical terms to me, and I didn't understand. So I said, okay, I'll do the next best thing. I'll talk to people that know this stuff. And so they said they would come down and check your pond out, and apparently
After a formal complaint was filed,
okay, yes.
they would come down and check that.
Yes, and so, yes, they said it was I just told them I was concerned because I didn't know what happened and I didn't know what needed to go on.
They had to have a formal written complaint.
Well, I didn't write anything. I didn't type it out, anything. I sent them an email. So I think they were talking about the verbal call. So then they said they would come down and check it out. And then once they checked it out, they told me that there were some things that were not done. And I didn't know what it was. And they said they would build a report file and they told you to stop. Cease and desist. So I asked the council, well, before this happened, I asked the council, let's put an ordinance in for digging ponds or something in the city. And Mr. Blanksy made a motion, but it died due to lack of second. Because I didn't want this to happen to you, happen to anyone else. I mean, it's like you said, we have nothing, so someone can start digging a pond tomorrow in their yard and find out they're in violation.
I didn't just start digging the pond. I came to the city 18 months before I started digging this pond. I went to the ASCS office, I went to the RDC, I contacted the Department of Natural Resources myself. No one gave any indication that there was any problem with me digging a pond. I was told repeatedly that there was no permit that had to be obtained if I kept the pond size under an acre, and I did that. Now, the Department of Natural Resources would not have responded had they not gotten a formal complaint. And that complaint, I'm assuming, came from you.
Yeah, I guess that was it, but they didn't get anything for writing for me.
Okay.
I called and talked to them because when I started reading the erosion and soil, erosion and sediment section, whatever it is, and it talked about, I call it this.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that issue is being handled. I've sought a professional to develop a plan that will satisfy the Department of Natural Resources. So those two entities, those two individuals are taking care of it. I'm bearing the expense of that. I'm taking care of that. So that's not an issue. Whatever the issue that we're addressing on the agenda would be, whatever issue you have further beyond that point? Because those two folks are taking care of that.
Okay, well, there are two issues I have. One is, you ran some 3 or 4 inch pipes into our ditch. That is our right of way, and no one can mess with our right of way unless they get permission from us. So, since you don't have permission, those pipes will need to be removed from the ditch until the council gives right of way. Because what happens is those ditches, if that ditch overflows, or the road overflows, and someone gets in an accident, or you cause a person's yard to flood, and here we're back to paperwork once again, we don't have anything from an engineer saying that this will not happen.
That water was flowing to that ditch anyway. I've not diverted any water to that ditch that was not already there. But I won't interfere with y'all's process. It's an honest mistake. I've not tried to pull anything on anybody. I just wanted a pond so my grandchildren would have a place to fish. I'm not here to argue with you guys. You know, whatever action you need to take, I'll try to make sure that I do whatever's right beyond that point.
So, all right. So are you going to remove the pipes from our right of way?
Once I'm directed to.
Okay. Well, about you, but you need a director for me to remove them?
I'd like to know what I violated.
Okay. Well, once, no one messes with our right of ways without permission. You did not get permission to run 4 inch pipes into our.
How far am I on your right of way?
Those, if I can walk, if that's our ditch, unless that ditch belongs to you, I can jump up and down on that and break both of those elbows. So what I'm saying is, it's the fact that you're feeding water in there, and that's the sediment and the whatever's in that water, when it goes into, it could overflow. I don't have any plans or anything.
The plans are being developed.
Yeah,
They're currently being developed.
Yeah, so.
So, my question would be, can we allow the planner and the Department of Natural Resources to come to an agreement? And if those pipes work in that plan, fine. If they don't, then we address it at that point.
The Environmental Protection Division told me they have nothing to do with that. That's us. You see, he has some concerns, he said, but they said they don't govern that. That's, we let you run in the ditch, we let you run in the ditch. Whatever happens, from what I understand talking about, that's been between.
If we remove the pipes, the water's gonna run there anyway.
Yes, but the problem is you have overflow, and that pond is, I don't know, it's a fifth of an acre, that's large.
It's just under that.
Okay, okay, that thing is humongous, so I don't know what overflow will come off of that. I mean, yeah, I understand you saying the water would have been run off your land, but you have a storage of water there, and once it gets so high, I don't know if it will come out faster than normal, because the ground soaks it up, but it's just gonna be feeding straight into that pond, feeding straight into the pipes, and I don't know what's gonna happen. So, yes, unless the council gives you permission, those pipes need to be removed.
I'm not really sure. I'll have to do what I can do, because if I remove the pipes, it's gonna damage that whole end, and all that water's gonna flow at one time. And the pipes were put in with extra expense paid on my part to protect the city's interest in that ditch and that roadway. Because I had an elbow put on both pipes. The water will be controlled as it reaches the tops of the elbow. And the elbow directs it down the flow of the ditch bank to protect the integrity of the foundation of the roadway.
Yes, but as I said, there are things about erosion and soil control, and not just that, but they didn't give you permission. So, I wouldn't want anything flooding out, and I don't understand it. You said you asked everybody about digging a pond, but you didn't ask us, could you run any overflow into our ditches? And we have to.
Because it's the same water that was running there before. My question to you is this then. I would like for it to be marked as to where the edge is, because the water that will go in will continue to have to go that way. So show me where the right of way is.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you can cut these pipes so it's on your land with the hoses in it, and it's gonna still run into the ditch. I'm saying this water, these pipes they can't be feeding water into our drainage system.
The water that was going in there anyway. It's a controlled overflow now where it wasn't controlled before. I mean, it's a much better, entirely more protective for the city, the city's property and the roadway than it was before. It's controlled now, whereas before it just ran as it ran. Because there were two ditches that led to that same, that exact same location of those two overflow pipes that ran through my yard. And when they were full, the water flowed out of them.
Because see, the problem is if other people start digging ponds in this city, and they all run around there into the ditches, and it comes to a point where, you know, I can't, they won't even let me do it, but, you know, because other people have it. And we're here to look out for the entire community, not just certain people.
And I'm here, I'm not here
so it's-
argumentative, I'm
so-
here trying to work this
I
out.
understand, so, those pipes will need to be removed, and that's the council gives you the right of way.
Can I make that in a request at this point?
Well, we would need information from an engineer or something saying that it's not gonna cause a nuisance or flooding or prevent anything. We need paperwork once again. I don't make decisions out of ignorance.
You just determine who has to provide the paperwork.
No, well, I don't know anything about water. If you just need to sign a letter, give it to me.
What would you, that's what I asked a few minutes ago, if the planner provides information that will work, will that meet the pleasure of you and the council?
But the problem is you didn't get permission, so those pipes need to be removed. And then once you bring this back to the council, with this information, then they can, when the council can vote.
So the directive only has to come from you that I remove those pipes?
No, you never received permission, so you are in violation. You're in violation.
What does a violation entail?
We have nuisance ordinances and stuff, and one, I mean, if people mess with our right away, they have to get a permit, so I'm pretty sure we already have something in place. You want to speak on that, Mr. Spencer?
If a nuisance is punishable as any other violation of the city code, I mean, of course, he would have the right to defend it versus being whether it's nuisance or not, as far as going in front of the municipal court judge, Mr. Judge Parrott. Another possibility would be some type of civil action, ejectment or something along those lines to require Mr. to remove it if it did not come in to be a nuisance. But I think there are potential remedies available to the city if that's the direction.
Well, as a council member, I don't have any idea of the last discussion I thought we had on the pond was when G.B.R. you advised us that it was the state's responsibility to mandate ponds. We had no jurisdiction over if Mr. Carroll could dig a pond or what. I had no idea that an email complaint was made on behalf of the city or on behalf of whomever to the Department of Natural Resources to you. That's my first time hearing it today. I don't know of any of the issue. I've driven past the location way back when we were just going to discuss if you had the right to build a pond. I haven't driven back by once we were advised that legally we had no jurisdiction or responsibility to do with whatever you were doing with your pond. So I don't know any of this. I don't know has the police been called to make have Chief Ross come out to
This is the
let
first
you
time.
know that your pipes are
No, this is the first
in
time.
violation?
I think we should take the same course of action we took from Mr. Christian, is to have the city, the engineer, to let us know what course of action to take.
But see, we shouldn't pay for that. Go ahead.
Right.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I've been retained by Mr. Carroll to solve the problem with EPD, so I'm under contract with him. And I'm gonna look at all of that. So
This was not done
in an antagonistic way. I mean, and I'm hiring somebody to make sure that this works best for the city.
I understand that. I know,
Okay.
because you were on our, you never got on our agenda if you been doing that.
Based, because of the citation, the complaint, he's fixing to spend several $1,000s with me and the contractor to satisfy EPD on that situation. And a lot of these questions that are being raised will be answered when I'm engineering that plan. And when I get to the point that I can tell you if there's 10 gallons more water going to the ditch than there was or less based on the engineering calculations, before we send it to EPD, I can advise the city manager or whoever, let y'all know. And then we can go from there.
Yes.
Why don't we wait till then, let Ben do his thing, his engineering on the
That's a good idea.
I could answer the question more intelligently.
I understand.
Okay, well, see, since this is new to all of us,
Well,
he didn't do it on purpose. You know,
it's
okay,
your-
so you got a motion, we could go ahead.
I was gonna point out that it wasn't at our cost, it's gonna be at his cost.
Okay. So, yeah, but you want
And let me say one other thing. At this point, if he goes out there and starts removing those pipes right now, he's in violation of the stop work order from EPD. It ain't going anywhere. It ain't gonna hurt anything for a few days. If it's on your I say the city's property, it's always gonna be there till we get this resolved. You know.
So,
But he's under a stop work order. He can't do anything. It needs to be grassed. He can't do anything until, what we've got to do is we've got to do a boundary survey on his property. We've got to do a topographic survey on his property, identify everything out there in the pond, in the contours of the land. We've got to identify how much he cleared. We've got to then come up with an engineering plan to show where to put silt fences, where to do temporary grassing and permanent grassing and ditch checks and then a final plan. Then he's got to send a notice of intent to EPD that he's ready and he's gonna submit plans. He can't do anything, even if the plans are ready for 14 days after that. He has to send a payment of $80 an acre for everything he's disturbed. He's got to wait until he hears, we hear from the technical review of the engineer that does their review. He'll have a set of plans, several sheets of engineering drawings and a 40-something page item checklist to go through. When that's approved, then we can send that notice of intent and say we're ready to go, because as the engineer, I have to certify that those plans are done and approved. You know, and so he's under the gun with EPD.
So, okay, so there will be need to be a motion stating probably, I'm just trying to put some facts together, that will allow him to leave the pipes there because he's under the stop order from EPD.
You know, if he gets out there now, him and his contractor, he's in work trouble.
Okay, until EPD has released it from the stop order and we're gonna receive the engineering.
I'll communicate
Okay.
with y'all.
Yes. Okay, the engineering.
As we go, you know, and before we submit them to EPD, we'll talk with y'all, because we don't want to submit them there and then somebody call up and say, we don't agree with that. I mean, there's no point in that, so y'all will be aware of what we're proposing.
I was asking, me a motion or just as a non-action?
This should be a motion. I believe this should be a motion.
Mr. Attorney?
I would agree, since you're going to authorize them to maintain the pipes poured over the right of way. I think the motion would be best to protect all the people.
Permanent.
To the EPD. So moved.
Second.
All questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hands. Okay, this is unanimous.
Who was the first? Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank y'all. We'll get the information to you post haste. I get it, you'll get it. All right, thank y'all.
All righty, next item.
Quote was received for repairs needed to the HVAC building. We had one contractor submit bids. And contractor's name and amount are on the packet. And I can tell you what the work was requested. Excuse me, it was repair crack ceiling and water damaged ceilings. They were highlighted in yellow areas. Paint ceilings in all hallways, rooms 101, 103, 107, 209, 214, 215, 218, 220, 221, 306, and 310. They are highlighted in yellow on the repair request. Repair wall and baseboards in the men's bathroom 106 and paint highlighted in red. Clean out all gutters and repairs that are damaged. Repair gutter downspouts located by the rear door and AC units on the southwest corner. And the bid that was submitted is by Mr. Walter Shelton for the amount of $4,250. And I'm not sure if Mr. Shelton is here.
The defect is, I asked you numerous times about our contract with them.
Yes, sir.
And I've never actually seen the contract. But, are they paying the same amount they originally paid? 20, I guess, 20?
No. The loan was paid off, this was way before me. I believe the loan was paid off, I believe the total building cost was around $1 million. The building has been paid off. Basically, the situation, and Jerry, you need to help me on this, but it was basically they would be allowed to rent the building for maintenance and upkeep after the end of the payoff of the building, and they pay us a monthly fee for operation and maintenance on the building to allow the DFACS organization to continue to service our community, which I think is a big plus to our community for our citizens that require the services of DFACS that may not be able to travel to outside cities that can get their services here.
And so, what, do you know what they are paying for rent?
No, sir, I don't think there is any rent. I think it's all maintenance and operation, and I would not want to do an amount without having it right in front of me. It's several $1,000s a month. Covers any repairs like these air conditioners, the building is all covered by that amount. Doesn't come out of the city's pocket.
One thing, Mr. Mayor, that when DFAC ceases to use the building, it is the equipment and those things.
So you say they take care of the maintenance on the building?
No, sir, we do.
Okay, we do. But they're not paying any, you say they're not paying any?
No, sir, they are. They're paying you an operation and maintenance fee every month. That covers the repairs, air conditioner replacement, put a new roof on it the last year or two, and that comes out of those funds.
Okay, and that will cover this?
Yes, sir, we have,
All right, so let's see if anyone wants any more information.
the only thing that I would point out in light of the other change orders and issues, the contractor has requested for upfront money prior to construction. In light of everything else, I would recommend not to do that.
Is there a motion with, upfront money? Or do you want more information?
This is the only quote we got. I like to place upon the motion to accept the bid with no money.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Standpoint, I just want to thank you for letting me in the council. I think you all have a wonderful city council. And one thing I learned over my years that all conflicts not bad. And all of us have a different opinion. And thank you, I think you're going to grow gracefully, and all of you are going to do a much better job once you learn each other. I haven't seen anyone that said anything out the way. Most of it been out of love and kindness. And I know it's his first time as being a mayor, so I know the council's going to work with you so you can grow in the grace of learning more about how to handle business. The only thing I see sometimes we do get out of order because no matter the chairs always, you got to address the chair no matter what. You cannot be talking over here and doing this stuff like that. That's not the law. But I think you all doing a good job. You're going to grow. This is not my first meeting. I've all been for 7 years, and all been is worse than this. And you see the growth, you know what I mean? Making the same way. And Brooks County, I'm here, I'm pastoring here, and I love being here. I'm her grandmother pastor, and I love her grandmother. So I haven't seen anything wrong. No more just a disagreement, but you all seem to work it out. And I know that it's going to get better as you grow to learn each other. Again, thank you. I got to go, and I appreciate letting me be here today. God bless you.
Bring us back some cornbread or something. I'm gonna be here this.
Is she old right on? Do you really want some cornbread?
No.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Item number 7 is the MEAC Powers 2014 year-end settlement. Ms. Bauer and I are the signees on this account. Staff would recommend these funds be placed in the Municipal Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account.
You were gonna run anything else, let's put it back in, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know.
We have taken it out in the past, but I don't remember the circumstances.
Because I remember reading about Albany doing something with this money, and they were all over the newspapers.
Well, this is money that was not intended for use in a lot of different areas. There have been some cities that and I don't want to say Albany, I don't know which ones it are, that have used this things for things, and it is unrestricted money, but it is something for the city in a rainy day fund for any catastrophes or anything like that could come to our electrical system, and a tornado and things like that. It is more directly related to the electric fund, but it is at y'all's discretion.
Because I was wondering if us putting it in, are we saving pennies on the dollar or dimes or quarters, or like you said, we could put that away and use it for our electrical. Is it, if we could use it for our electrical department, I don't know, I didn't want to do anything.
I don't think you could use it for day-to-day operations, but
upgrades,
sir?
Upgrades and stuff?
It could be. I know we've used money in the past to change our system over to 12 kVA in certain parts of the area. I think that was right at $1 million that upgrade several years back. But it is restricted, and it does require council approval.
Well, I guess unless anybody else got any other ideas or wants to hold off on it for some reason, then I guess it was a pleasure of the council.
I make a formal motion that we deposit it into the Municipal Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Ms. Bauer, if you would stay around after the meeting, we can get that executed with Mr. Rooney. Item number 8 involves a central business license application. I talked with this lady yesterday on the phone. I'm not sure if anybody from TNT is here. She offered to be here, and I spoke with her at length. TNT Fish Market will be located at 216 South Court Street, number B, Quitman, Georgia, and has made application for a business license. This license will require approval from the City Council. Staff would recommend approval.
Okay, I do have one question about the fish market. I remember there was a fish market over there in that same, well, I don't know if it's the same location, but over there in that plaza. They were throwing their fish guts and stuff in the, do they have a certain type of bin, or is there certain?
I'm always very hesitant to answer questions that I don't know.
I understand.
The exact answer to that, and that would be one I'm not sure of.
Okay, do you know the orders that we have, like
Oh, no, I can tell you, we do have ordinances that would require, that would govern nuisances, smells, odors, and things like that, yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so,
I had never received any complaints on the other ones, so, every now, we had some issues where Mr. G.B.R had his, and we resolved those with just a quicker pickup.
so is there a motion?
I'll make a formal motion that we approve the business application for T&T Fish Market located at 216 South 4th Street, Unit B, for approval.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Item number 9 is another central business district application. Central class of boutique to be located at 209 East Grevin Street, Quitman, Georgia, has made application for business license. This will also require council approval.
They're here if you want to say something, you can, if not.
You all right.
Thank you for allowing us to present our proposal for our business venture, A Touch of Class. A Touch of Class is a retail clothing boutique that provides a high-end apparel for women. This boutique also offers options for the modern fashionista and the trendy professional woman on the go. The store also offers handbags and accessories. Our plan is to open up July 2015 and operate the store between the two of us, me and my partner Ricardo Davis, for the first 6 months. Depending on the sales and the success of the first year, we're looking to hire 3 people to help us out with that. And we plan to operate the store Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're very interested in becoming a stable and solid business in Quitman, and as well as establishing a working relationship with the surrounding business owners to help grow and revitalize our area. As natives of this community, we understand the importance of supporting the small businesses we have here, and we look forward to becoming active in that process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion?
I make a formal motion that we approve Touch of Class boutique to be located at 209 East Grevin Street, Quitman, Georgia. Thank you guys for coming. Great presentation.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, and I also want to congratulate you all. Welcome once again, I spoke with Mr. Davis on yesterday to the Central Business District, and it's always great to see the youth investing in the community and wanting to stay here, so I thank you all so much.
Is questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hand. This is unanimous. Thank you very much, and before you get on to the next item, yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And before we get on to the next item, all right.
Okay, yes. Item number, and we will move on. Item number 10, Ms. Harris Tennyson has been our quota for insurance for health care, insurance for the city. In addition, the city clerk has played a legal ad in the Quitman Free Press to train insurance quotes from agents and broker firms. And we will present those to you when completion. I could go ahead with the next one.
Yes.
As y'all are aware, several meetings ago, we had some projected revenue shortfalls. We need to do some transfers of monies now to start planning on the closeout of the fiscal year. I can give you some of the deficits that we have. Outstanding taxes, $136,059. And we are looking at going ahead and moving forward on revenue recovery on that. Water and sewer, I'm sorry, that was on outstanding taxes.
And what was that?
What was the money, Danny?
136,059. Water and sewer revenues, 58%, and they should be at 75%. As y'all are aware, we have not had lost revenue for the last 3 months. That will affect our budget. And I'll let City, I can be interrupted here, just come back to this in a second.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir.
It says only, this 5-ton air conditioner is only to 1,720 square feet.
That's it. It's commercial office space.
Okay. The building's over 10,000 square feet.
You've got other air conditioners in the building. That's not the only air conditioner. That's the area that unit is.
We replaced 4 air conditioners just at this time.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 more there that are existing.
Oh, okay. All right, well, this is all. Is there, we're gonna do this. Is there a motion to approve this change order? Can we do both at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and to approve the change order and? Well, I guess once you do the change order, I'm gonna sign it. So, there's one.
I'd like to make a formal motion that the change order has been approved. A director of the mayor will be given to sign the check for payment of the additional changes, so that the check is to be signed today before close of business to J&J.
You need to remove the director.
My motion is as follows.
Well, you need to remove the director. You need to change that word. You don't direct me to sign. Restate.
I didn't know that there was a legal terminology that I had to make in a motion, besides how I want to make a motion.
I think you can make a motion, but till it's seconded, it means nothing.
Motion died due to lack of second.
No, we're calling for
I know, still, there was no second, because I said, until you change your verbiage, I will not let you talk to me, disrespect me in meetings like this. You don't direct the mayor to do anything. Do you want to make a motion?
There's a motion on the table. I don't know on the second motion. There's a motion.
You ready for the secretary? Usually have to call for a second, call for a second.
Robert's Rules of Order requires the chair to call for a second if a motion is made. If it dies for lack of a second, if it is seconded, then there comes a discussion. And,
I said it's gonna die due to lack of second, because I will not call for the second, because I will not be talked to like this at me.
I didn't say anything.
You don't direct.
I didn't
You
speak
don't direct.
rudely
You
to
don't
you,
direct.
Mr. I made a motion.
Okay, well, you need to rephrase that, take the directive.
You can't order me how to phrase a motion.
Okay, well, does anybody else want to have to make a motion then?
Substitute authorize for direct.
Direct for authorized.
Substitute authorize to sign the check instead of direct to sign the check.
You said substitute the word.
I'll rescind my motion further.
Motion rescinded. Is there a motion?
On the motion to, pay J.B.R.
To approve the change order? All right, is there a second? Questions, concerns, all in favor? Raise your hand. It's unanimous. And
Who seconded it? I didn't hear
I didn't
anybody.
hear it.
Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
All right, then. Ms. Linda, does he get a copy of it?
We already have that.
All right.
Well, it might be good to go ahead and make a copy of that, because that's Mr. Griffin.
Okay, next we get
She's out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, we can move on to the next item.
Well, I was in it, but I didn't know if you wanted her to keep minutes of it, or.
Oh, yeah, well, hold on, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any more revenue shortfall?
Yes, I could go through all y'all get a monthly calculation of these. I do want everybody to be aware that all the spending from the city is within the 75%. It is not a spending problem, this is a revenue problem. I have several motions. Just to give you some breakdown, we have $165,512 in shortages from utilities not being paid. So you can see we're very far behind. Sir, one at present to date for this calendar, this fiscal year, $165,512.26. So, first motion I would need to address is that we're requesting, and this was several months ago we talked about this, I would need a motion to discontinue contributions to the capital improvement funds as we deem necessary. A motion to discontinue contributions to the capital improvement funds as deemed necessary. We will keep contributing the ones that are urgent, the other ones like new trucks or vehicles or anything like that, we would discontinue to try to make up these deficits. That would be the first.
Okay,
We have talked about that several months ago, but I would like it in the form of a motion.
Yes, is there a motion?
I make a formal motion that we discontinue contributing to the capital improvement funds as staff sees deems necessary.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Me? All right, it's unanimous.
The next transfer we would like to do would be from the Water and Sewer Extension Fund into the Water and Sewer Fund of $61,000. This will be a transfer.
Okay, from where to where again?
It would be from the Water and Sewer Extension Fund into the Water and Sewer Fund in the amount of $61,000.
Okay, is there a motion?
So move that we move $61,000 extension fund to the fund. Water and sewer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your hands. It's unanimous.
Our next transfer we would like to do, we recommend transfer of $100,000 from the old revolving loan fund to the general fund for loan. This is again due to the revenue shortfalls. This when I say revolving loan fund, this was one that was obtained 20-something years ago that has been released back to the city for use.
Into the general fund?
Yes, for distribute, and we would just put the distribution into the other funds that we boost up. We make long-term loans too.
Oh, okay, other funds. And could you give us, is it like a lot of those other funds or is it just?
Oh, it'll be cable and whatever else at this point.
Okay.
But, again, they're all in y'all's monthly reports, but this would get us back toward the end of the year. That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
is there a motion?
I make a motion that we transfer $100,000 from the revolving loan fund to the general fund to cover shortfalls.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions?
Is this the total amount?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
And the last one I have is that we are recommending a transfer of $25,000 from the cable TV capital improvement to cable TV. And I will give you my status on cable TV later on. But that transfer needs to be
All right, is there a motion?
Excuse me.
To transfer the cable TV capital improvement to cable TV, $25,000?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that informal motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, concern? All in favor, raise your hands. It's unanimous.
Our next item is Crown Healthcare Revolving Loan Fund. Crown Healthcare is working with Brooks County Development Authority, as are our other two projects, on a revolving loan fund application from the city of Quitman. We are attempting to schedule a loan committee meeting to review the loan application from Crown Healthcare. Crown Healthcare is looking to expand. This loan will allow Crown Healthcare to expand and create up to 40 new jobs. Currently, they employ 145 persons in our community. The loan amount they will be requesting is $6,000. They are requesting to schedule the loan committee and then have it for review for the city council as quickly as possible so they can bring these new jobs to our community.
They're the ones that already been paid off a loan that we.
Yes, sir, they have.
It was a little while ago, right? It wasn't too long ago.
Then the last, and again, I hate to give dates, but within the last year, they paid off previous loans they've had with the city.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Other questions? Concern? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. 40.
Well, that, with the other one, and that's why it's so critical to our community, you know, that would be a total of almost 100 jobs between those two facilities. So we need to get behind the citizens of our community and provide these jobs to the community. The next one is a loan to Georgia Bottle Company. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs has approved the city's request to amend the project's public benefit from the creation of 20 new net jobs to the retention of 15 existing jobs. The city will need to submit a new draft loan document to the DCA for review. The EIP loan funds should be completely drawn down within 60 days of the date of this letter. So we are under a very, very tight time frame on this. It will require strict action. I think our letter came out, we received it, I think, on the 16th, or I think the mayor received his on the 16th or 17th. So the clock is running, and I would hope we could expedite this to keep those jobs from being lost in our community.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
I don't know if we want to breach the next item right now, but we are seeking authorization to have Ms. Bruni Hudson as the authorized signer for all accounts maintained by the city of Quitman.
I think we got to discuss that, but there's some other issues we have to discuss. We have to discuss some things before. There is something we do need to discuss in executive session. We're waiting till they finish with all this other stuff, so people can also, we go to item number 15.
Our next item is the cable TV subcount, and we were under a time frame on getting these agendas out, as y'all recall. Let me give you the April subcounts: 77 for basic, 517 for advanced, 233 for premium, 18 for advanced with Cinemax, 62 for premium with Cinemax. Your subcount is at 907. We do need to look at cable as to whether we want to stay in the cable business or not. I think all the council is aware of my concerns about the cable system. Item number 16 is revenue recovery services. Ms. Hudson has been digging me out of a hole here as of late, just with budget data and fund account balances. Two of the things that we are looking at right now to keep the council updated is revenue recovery services. As y'all were just updated on, 167,000 in bad debts, over 100,000 in past taxes, not counting revenue or utilities not being paid prior to that, would probably come up to around $800,000. We would like to retain the services of one of these recovery services. I think Gerald has looked at two. By the next meeting, we'll have a recommendation for you of what service we'd like to engage with. Excuse me. Item number 17 is Employee of the Month. The May 2015 Employee of the Month is Ms. Leslie Lacy. Next item is the GMA District Officer Delegate, and we would need to appoint somebody for that.
Yes, I have a letter. It says, encloses your city's official ballot for the election of GMA's District 11 officers for 2015 to 2016. I don't know if you want me to read the rest, or just read the names off. You want me to read the entire thing, or just the names?
Names, please.
Okay, all right. It says President Peggy Murphy from the Mayor of Alma, the first Vice President Olivia Pearson, Commissioner of Douglas, the second Vice President Tom Kennedy, the Mayor of Homerville, the third Vice President B. Gowan, the Mayor of Folkestone. It says no additional nominations were received by April the 21st, 2015 deadline. If your city is in favor of the proposed slate of officers, please check here. If your city is opposed to the proposed slate of officers, please check here. Please provide the following information. I guess who we want to replace those with and those names. So, is there a motion to accept these as proposed? Slate of officers.
I'm making formal motion, we accept the ballot that's presented to us.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
I've already voted online, so I'm not voting.
Oh, well, it's not unanimous, then it's, okay, it's,
One abstain.
okay, I do have something to read. It said the ballot should be mailed or faxed to the attention of Kelly Shields by Monday, June the 1st. Please note that only one ballot may be submitted per city.
I voted for a person who didn't get in the official ballot, so I already voted. They sent us all, you know, you can vote for independent persons, but if I've already voted. The person who I voted, who asked me to vote during the nomination process, didn't make it to the final, so.
All right.
Item number 19 is communication from the library to the mayor.
Okay, I received a letter, yesterday. It says, library funding request for fiscal year 2016. Dear Mayor Brown, this year we received an annual allocation of $41,412 from the city. The Brooks County Public Library Board of Trustees respectfully ask that the City Council Commissioners increase the annual allocation to the public library by 2%, which is $828.20, to provide a total annual allocation of $42,240 in fiscal year 2016. The Library Board is also requesting a 2% increase from both the Brooks County Commission and the Brooks County Board of Education. This increase will help the library cover increased teachers' retirement costs and also assist in offsetting an additional $32,909.76 cut in state funding. In fiscal year 2015, the library received $140,156.76 in state funds. In fiscal year 2016, the Brooks County Public Library will receive $107,247. The Library Board is very grateful for the financial support. The funding partnership with the state, city of Quitman, county commission, and school board enables the library to provide educational information and recreational services to the citizens of Brooks County. Library Board members and I will be happy to meet with you and the Quitman City Council to discuss this request. Thank you sincerely, Ms. Laura Harris, the director. I think this is a good call. I think it's excellent. So what are the wishes of the council? Is there a motion?
Yeah, they're asking for a specific amount.
It is 2%, which is $828.20.
Higher. Well, I think they need to meet with us and let us know what the 2% is going toward and where they're gonna do the 2% before we approve that.
Okay, that's not where here where it says in fiscal year 2015, the library received $140,156.76, and it said in the state fund, but in 2016 they received 107, which is, I believe, if you add $32,909.76 to that, it would add up to 140. It says to but we can have any meetings, that's no problem.
Yeah,
she wouldn't have any problem.
The only thing I think we should consider, if we're approving money right now, you don't know that you'll have the money in the budget. We already have budget shortfalls we're looking at right now. I think it'd be improper to promise money we don't know that we can actually extend out under what's.
Is that for the new budget year?
Yes.
Okay.
You also have, remember, you have requests from the airport for more money, or new money.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Item number 20 is addressing the G.B.R dam.
All right, Mr. Evans, he's not here, but I've actually got other complaints from people on the Street too. They say over there behind their houses there's a beaver dam, and I think there's more than one, and it floods out over there. And I don't know, what do we even do anything about that, or we have, or in the past?
We have in the past. Of course, I'm right now on this particular request making sure that those ditches do belong to the city. This is a area of the transmission lines for electricity. Once I determine that, we can see if our machine can get in there. It usually takes a month or so without rain for us to get in some of those areas because it is so slow.
Didn't the county go in there like one
Yes,
time?
sir, their equipment is much larger than ours. We have a small machine and we have had them come in there. The only thing with those machines, they are so heavy, we do have utilities through that area. We have a sewer main going through there.
Okay, thank you.
Number 21 is a request from G.B.R. Georgia Department of Transportation along with Florida Georgia RailNet. Should be good news for everybody. They're repairing the crossing on the Madison Highway, one that's so rough going toward the fire tower. In order for them to facilitate this particular construction, they are requesting, and I think it is just a courtesy on their part to route the detour the traffic through the industrial park during the scope of the construction. I see no problem. I think they could do it without our permission because there were state funds used in that. But again, all of us that travel that way in any way, shape, or form realize how bad that crossing is.
Is there, we need to take a vote on that then, or just information?
I think a vote would be wise because the only thing I'm going to ask the DOT to do is make sure, especially on our corners down there, Mr. Ben, where we have storm drain corners, with large trucks going through there, I would like them to recognize that they are in good shape now in case we have heavy trucks that may cause damage to it. I don't know if they do any good, but I'd like to at least to have
Get their attention up front.
That's right.
So is there a motion?
I'll put it in form of motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, all in favor, raise your hands. It's unanimous.
Item number 2 is the mayor's request for Cash Birch Chrysler Dodge.
Yes, I was just wanting to know if there was any updates, because I haven't heard anything. I don't know how long now.
I'm not sure. I've had no communication from them. I don't think Gerald has. We are poised to move ahead.
We forwarded a letter, well, we gave him the letter the last time he was here. The city did. I've heard nothing since then.
Okay. All right. The H&H payment, Mr. Gay, permit for the, how's that permit going with the running the?
As soon as we get an exact amount, I won't overstep my bounds. I will make sure to present that crossing fee back to the council for approval. We have had communication with Florida Georgia RailNet. They've indicated to us there is an emergency fee that can be to expedite the permit. They are reviewing it right now. As soon as I have communication with them, schedule it next meeting and move forward from there.
Thank you very much.
And the only other thing, just as an information, so our main water well had some emergency repairs, and as soon as I have more information on that, I'll update the council.
Thank you. And now, the only thing I have is the executive session. So, public will have to vacate the room, but they can come back after we go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, it is required that you don't have to tell us what, because you have to tell us why you're going in. You don't have to discuss the subject matter.
Personnel issue.
Yeah, that's it.
Is there a motion to